How's it going, everybody? We have an exciting video for you today because there is a new strike spot that is up. This one's around the Immortal weapons. I guess this was the oopsie doopsie team that made its way into the game late last week. We did see Lady Bullseye, we saw Swordmaster, and we saw Serpent, and it looks like Iron Fist and Iron Fist World War II, super awkward name by the way, are probably going to be the reworks as they're giving away their red stars in the global event under the bonus categories, which is what they've done in the past when they're telling us what the reworks are going to be. I'm super curious to see what this team's going to be like, what it's going to be for, and if it's going to be good, and how the community is going to take to it. Because Iron Fist, super cool character, great character, ruined by Netflix's adaptation of Iron Fist for sure. And then obviously we've had in the past the problem where the coolest character on a team maybe was already in the game, so they're the rework characters, so they get the absolute shaft when it comes to rework, because obviously they want the new characters to be the best so they can sell the new characters, and that's how we got Scarlet Witch reworks all 3 times that we got them. She's still trash. All right, hopefully that's not going to be the case for Iron Fist, but let's let Path take it from here, and we'll see what's going to be the Immortal weapons place of play. Let's go.
So a Thunderbolt, an Avenger, and a couple of martial artists walk into a raid, and somehow they actually work together.
A raid team? Brother, what? No, wait. Oh, no. Orson, no. World War II is a skill character. He was part of the skill raid team, and then OG Iron Fist is Mystic, and oh, it's not going to be skill, so it's going to be a Mystic raid team? Lady Bullseye, Mystic? Brother, what? Okay, all right, okay.
The Immortal weapons are not your typical team, and definitely not just for raids. Today, we will learn how this unlikely crew pulls it off as we interview Ricardo from the combat team. And stick around until the end, there's a promo code waiting for you. Don't spoil it though.
Just because he told me what to do, I'm going to spoil it. There it is. Immortal weapons. All one word. Immortal weapons. Don't tell me what to do, Path. You're not my real dad. All right, let's see what we got.
Ricardo, welcome back to Strike Spot.
I'm glad to be back.
How you doing today?
I'm doing good. Just been balancing.
Just been balancing. Yeah, we've had a lot of teams and characters as we usually do, and you've been a part of several of them in the recent past. So good to see you back with the next team, the Immortal Weapons. So my first question is, how did we decide on this ragtag crew of characters?
Well, the new characters are pretty, like, we've always been wanting to do them. And we've been wanting to do a rework on Iron Fist and Iron Fist World War II. They are just pretty iconic, and we kind of...
Okay, so they're just giving him the Mystic tag. So he's now skill and Mystic. I don't know if he was always skill Mystic, but now he's Mystic. Okay, let's see the power levels here. 1 million at 7 red stars, ISO 3, everything T4'd out. That seems pretty small. What about OG Iron Fist? Same sort of deal. Oh, no, he's a healer. Please don't make that true. Please don't make that true. Don't let him be a healer that has a sort of, kind of, single target burst damage. Come on now.
Iron Fist and Iron Fist World War II. They are just pretty iconic, and we kind of want to make them relevant again.
Yeah, and I think the theme of, Immortal weapons fits for the most part. I mean, they all have different ways of dishing out some sort of punishment to their enemies, which is kind of cool. You have Iron Fist World War II with the guns, you got swords, you got fists, you really got it all. So it's exciting. Who would you say is kind of the key member of this team?
I think I would say one of the key members would be Swordmaster. His abilities are pretty strong, but I would still have to say that all of the members are pretty key components of the team.
Okay, so it's going to be a more balanced team, but we'll start with Swordmaster. So what can you tell us about his kit?
Yeah, so I can start off with like the passive. He has a mechanic where he spawns in, he has, I believe it's Safeguard, and whenever an ally attacks a character with defense down, he's going to be applying or generating ability energy, and this is like very raid mechanic core. He's also going to be healing when those targets are attacked, and he does have something that's probably for the active abilities, but characters with stun will have reduced armor.
Okay. And speaking of, characters with...
Those are some pretty interesting mechanics that they haven't really built in yet. So that is fun. That's the kind of mechanics I want to see in Battle World on like a boss, though, right? I want to see in Battle World on a boss, like First Century, if you give him defense down every time you hit him, instead of him getting 20% speed bar, he only gets 5% speed bar, right? That's the kind of mechanics I want for that sort of a game mode. That's interesting for raids. For PvP, most of our matches are done in the first wave of turns, if not the second wave of turns. So that kind of energy build doesn't really apply there, but it's good for raids. It's good for like Dark Dimensions. But that's what I want to see in like Battle World. I want to see them like a Battle World boss, like has X effect, you hit into it, does Y thing, and then you get to actually progress in the fight. You get to do better than you were doing before. They release a team that does that X effect more often, so it kind of works out more. That's what I want to see, but interesting they're starting to lean into that just on regular characters.
With stun, his ult has a pretty cool mechanic on it as well. Do you want to dive into that?
Yeah, so his ultimate is a single target attack, and he essentially is going to be putting stun on the primary target. The cool part is if...
Jesus Christ. You can never say our game doesn't kick frickin' ass when it comes to animations. That was beautiful. That was beautiful.
If he kills the target, he is going to be applying stun to the targets that are adjacent to that target. So I know sometimes we apply stun and then we kill the target and it feels kind of like a wasted ability. So now we're making it a little bit more spicier and applying stun to targets around them.
I really like
W. Ricardo. That's a great take. That is an amazing take. Sometimes the priority target that you either want to stun or kill, you have to use the ability there. And then it's like, damn, I wasted that stun. But now that it's going to spread off and stun adjacents, that's a really, really cool change. I really like that.
that. I mean, just in the recent past, we've had characters that can spread stun, and now we have a character on kill that can spread it to adjacent targets as well. But that's not all Swordmaster can do. So what can you tell us about his special?
His special is probably one of the strongest abilities for the team. He has an attack haul that reduces immunity and safeguard to all targets.
Ooh.
And this works differently in raids. It should be reducing all positive effects, but he's also going to be applying trauma, heal block, and defense down.
So you get that clarification. So everywhere, safeguard immunity, that's huge. That's going to be really powerful in war. If he goes, whoa, hold on, no, I hate this character now. If he does that when he's on defense, and he's faster than characters on like the Secret Warriors team or the Mighty Avengers team or the Vigilante team, he could become a nightmare war defensive character. Kind of cool, but really powerful. Can do all. I don't really care what stuff does in raids, because it's like you unlock the character, you build them up as high as you can build them, and then you're just simming that garbage forever, right? It's the other modes that drive interest for me, or if they do like a pocket dimension where we actually get to utilize raid rules, and that's kind of cool there. But yeah, that immunity safeguard is crazy. I need to know how fast this guy is.
It's a very vital part of the mechanic, and it should be dealing a lot of damage.
And both of these abilities are available on turn one. So you really get, the opportunity to pick and choose what you want to do. Do you want to remove the safeguard and immunity and apply all those negative effects, or do you want to try and stun somebody? I really like that about his kit.
Okay, so because both are available, he's going to default to ult on defense. So you're not going to have to worry about him taking off your safeguard and immunity when he is on defense, because he's always going to default to that ultimate, which, if I heard correctly, that's the one that does the stun, and if they die, it does the spread. So, yeah, okay, it's fine.
Yeah, we try to give the players the options to choose.
Cool. Well, let's jump to Iron Fist. Iron Fist being one of the OG characters in Marvel Strike Force. So how are we going to be reworking him to shine on this new Immortal Weapon team?
We wanted to keep the core mechanics of the charge mechanics still kind of not the same, but still work similarly. He is going to be applying damage reduction to his ally characters and himself while he's charged. This is a way to counter all these alpha striking new teams that we have. So they're going to be able to take a lot of damage. We did still keep a lot of the core. When he reduces to 50%, he heals himself and a lot of on-turn healing. We did give him a taunt on spawn if he has 3 or more Immortal Weapon allies. This team is very they don't have like a protector, so I needed to add somewhere, and it just seemed like the character that would taunt for enemy characters.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, and obviously, still on his ult, he has that big mega punch that he's gonna do. He will also remove positive effects on the enemy that he's targeting as well, right?
Correct. I do think we added a clear barrier on his ultimate as well to all targets to help be able to like kill off a lot of characters. There's too much barriers currently in game. We did add also a on kill, he will gain 5 charges to himself. This is just to add a way to kind of still get that passive and make it so you can kind of like battle with it more.
So he has a way to gain charges back if he were actually.
Am I having a stroke? The editing seems a little off today, huh? It's a really good interview, but I keep seeing like these black screens. I don't know if I'm blacking out or what's going on, but it's interesting. Okay, so Iron Fist, he's got a heal. He does a damage reduction. He's gonna be taunting, which is super funny because he was like, I guess he was like a support-y character for defenders, and then for the Heroes for Hire, which is where the charges were introduced, he kind of became when they drop below 50% life, they gain defense up when they get healed back up. It was something like that, right? And then he had his on-turn heal. So it doesn't sound like he's gotten this sort of rework that I would be excited for. But Swordmaster sounds cool. And I guess if nothing else, Serpent Steel looks like a reskin of the Immortal Iron Fist. So it'll be fine, right? It'll be fine.
Actually to lose them in a fight. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And obviously his special is still going to be that pretty big heal, but now with, you know, boosted new stats, he's going to be able to heal quite a bit more than he did before.
Yeah, correct. We did also add a little bit of more buffs to his special to make it seem it was very antiquated or very kind of old mechanics, so we added a little bit more to it.
Cool. Okay, very cool. I'm very excited to see how he's gonna fit back into the meta. He was one of my favorite characters from way back in the Defender days. Well, let's jump to the next character, which is Steel Serpent. So what can you tell us about his abilities?
Yeah, so similarly to Swordmaster, the theme around him is applying slows instead of like defense down, and whenever a target is attacked and has slow, he's going to be reducing speed bar on that target. In raids, it's going to be all targets, and if the characters have 3 slows, you're able to apply ability block on that specific character. His passive is very control-y and more related about speed, and yeah, he's going to be controlling a lot of like that.
Why isn't this guy designing Battle World, bro? That's such a cool idea, right? Let's say for Sentry, let's say you could actually put slow on him because you can't put slow on him for some reason. And let's say he's not getting 20% turn bar every time you hit him because that's stupid. What if you put 3 slows on Sentry and then you can stun him, and then when he's stunned, he takes 500% more damage? Come on, the shit writes itself. Okay, but let's get back to the Immortal Weapons Kit. That's pretty cool, man. I like that. I don't know what's going on with the ability block, but I really like if they have slow and you hit them as good turn meter rewind. I wonder if that's going to be gated behind having a certain amount of immortal weapons with him, because that would be such a powerful technique with like the Superior 6 in Crucible, right? So you get Vulture, Superior Spider-Man, Hobgoblin, Green Goblin, and then this guy, and you go into a team that has like a Nightcrawler on there, so Vulture takes that speed up for his guys, he puts slow on the enemy, all of a sudden you're hitting them with your really fast Green Goblin who's got speed bar, your really fast Superior Spider-Man who's starting to give speed bar away. Like that would be like just the biggest snowball effect ever. I really like that. It's a really cool effect.
That aspect of the battle.
Okay, and on his, active abilities, his ult and his special, he has some interesting mechanics with Iron Fist, which I found fascinating. So what can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so on his ultimate, he is going to be transferring all the positive effects that Iron Fist has and applying them to himself. He is going to be dealing more.
I'm sorry, I blacked out what he was saying because that was so cool. Did you see that 1-2 bomb? He gave him the 1-2 combo. The set was like 4-piece combo, but still. I gotta rewind, sorry.
He's going to be controlling a lot of like that aspect of the battle.
Okay, and on his active abilities, his ult and his special, he has some interesting mechanics with Iron Fist, which I found fascinating. So what can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so on his ultimate, he is going to be transferring all the positive effects that Iron Fist has and apply them to himself, he is going to be dealing more damage depending on how many positive effects he has and how many negative effects the enemy character has. And if you're able to kill the character that you're targeting, you're going to be applying slow to all enemy targets and also reducing speed meter.
Okay. And what about his special?
His special is a pretty simple kit. It's an AoE, reducing the speed bar on enemy targets.
What do you think of the Immortal Weapons team so far, Commanders? Let us know down in the comments below. Also, if you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel and join our official Discord server.
Pretty cool path. I think they're pretty cool. I really like the if they have X effect, perform Y effect, or Y rewind, or Y whatever. I really like that. I think that's cool. It's definitely building on to some complexities. We'll see how much is hidden behind raids, where that kind of just becomes background noise because we sim it, and how much is available in the other game modes. This team could be really cool. I just wish they had like a really recognizable character at the forefront. Yeah. Danny Rand, the MCU, kind of ruined it for everybody.
Link is in the description. Now let's get back to the video. Well, it sounds like so far we have Swordmaster, who's going to be applying defense down. We also have Steel Serpent applying slows. And the stealing of the positive effects was really interesting to me. You're going to have to figure out a way to keep those positive effects on Iron Fist with that safeguard. But next character that we're going to jump into is actually Iron Fist World War II. So he was already really good in raids, in my opinion, and he was my favorite character on the old Invaders team. So what are we going to be doing with him to bring him back into the meta again?
Yeah, so we did a lot of testing, and his kit is very strong still. His extending of positive effects is very strong, especially with the immunity and safeguard. And if you want to keep those positive buffs during like a battle, that's definitely one of the abilities that you want to like trigger. His ultimate is definitely still strong, and applying stun and attacking all is going to be very strong in raids. So he didn't really need a lot of changes. He just needed like a big stat update.
Yeah, and he's also, you know, kind of a pseudo healer himself, right? Yeah. So I think that both Iron Fists having heals on their team is really going to make this a tough squad to take down. I'll be interested to see that. I also like that his special can, you know, extend those positive effects outside of raids. That's a nice touch for the team. But we'll talk about the final new character that we're going to be getting on this team, and that's Lady Bullseye. And I gotta say, I'm really glad that we're deciding to bring her into the game after she lost the Thunderbolt fan vote. That was the one. She was the one that I wanted to win. But what can you tell us about Lady Bullseye?
The theme around her is...
By the way, there's a narrative like, oh, she lost the fan vote, she should never be put in the game. That's a dumb narrative, guys. That's a dumb narrative. You never want Werewolf by Night, right? We already had Phantom Rider kind of break that mold. Do you never want Venomized Thanos, right? You guys voted for Zombie Kestrel. Do you guys never want Symbiote Kestrel? It's just, yeah, it's weird. It's weird. We don't want any of the other newscasters to become vampires, but the other ones are okay.
Applying offense down, and characters that target or hit all these characters with offense down, she's going to be attacking the lowest targets. So it's just more ways to dish out more damage, consistent damage that isn't happening during her turn. She's also going to be applying to herself a lot more crit damage and crit chance, depending on how many Immortal Weapons allies you have. Yeah, so it's very controlly in some like crit chance way. She is going to be reducing crit chance on enemy targets, so that is her passive specifically. Her special and ultimate are pretty basic. They're dealing a lot of damage, applying a lot of negative effects. Her ultimate actually has a pretty nifty ability where she does apply all three effects, so offense down, defense down, and slow. But she needs to be able to crit to apply those negative effects.
Okay, so you might want to think about making her a raider for your ISO choice then.
Yeah, definitely something that you want to add.
Okay, very cool. Well, I know at the beginning of this video I kind of made a joke about Thunderbolts and Avengers, but we do have both Swordmaster and Lady Bullseye that are getting some additional tags.
Ooh.
So this is something we've experimented with a lot recently. You know, looking at, you know, Azazel and Rachel Summers on a curse, looking at Superior Spider-Man being able to slot into, you know, the Superior 6. So how are they going to be doing that for this team with Lady Bullseye and Swordmaster?
Yeah, so we're giving Lady Bullseye the Thunderbolt tag. She will be able to.
They just showed the screen and never saw. That's on me. That's on me. This is great. Okay, so right now Songbird does not want to go with the Thunderbolts team, right? Especially in War and Crucible, Songbird wants to go do her own thing because she's flying high compared to the rest of the Thunderbolt characters. But the Thunderbolts team, when they're a group of 5, is really powerful. And maybe this will be enough to kind of get Songbird back there, because Songbird, if there's a full 5 team, they can't get trauma before she takes turn. They can't get ability block before she takes turn. So maybe this will bring the Thunderbolts team back into prominence, where we'll actually want to use them in War as a full thing on defense or a full thing on offense, or maybe even Crucible. I'm not sure. But this is cool. I like this. This does mean they're going to make me put Gear to 20 on characters like Hyperion, Ghost, and Vicky, which I did not want to do, though. Not a fan of that. But a fan of them doing this like they did with Hellfire Club, where Rachel went to go help Immortals, Azazel went to go help a Curse. I thought that was really good. I'm a fan of when they do this kind of stuff, especially when it's for a new team, right? When they made like Scorpion good for Infestation, and then they rebuffed the Infestation team, so we all had to build up that team. Like, I didn't hate that, but the Infestation team didn't get any sort of like new meta mechanics, so they still just get crushed. They're just like this big wall now, and your old hard counters may just not be able to crack through that wall just because of stats. But when they do this for a new team, like Thunderbolts, like they did for Hellfire, like they did for a Curse, I really like that because those teams have current meta mechanics. So I'm a fan of this. I'm talking too much. Let's let him finish.
Work a little bit with the Thunderbolt. Not her specifically. Her abilities are still not as like helping them, but she's going to be getting all the benefits that Thunderbolts give.
Good enough.
And it is a raid team, so it might be kind of hard to like switch off to see which one you want to remove or add. But she does have a lot of like independent abilities, so all she needs to do is crit and apply a lot of negative effects. For Swordmaster, we are giving him the Mighty.
No way! Yes! I guarantee this is where Scarlet Witch is. Don't replace Scarlet Witch, bro. Oh, she's the one who does defense down. He's 100%. No, he's got to replace Vision, right? Vision is trash. Vision is trash. Oh my God! Did they just rework this team? Let's go. Okay. So if he gets a kill, he will stun them, and he can remove the immunity, which is cool. But Falcon feeds off all those buffs anyway. Okay, hold on.
Avengers tag, and that one might be a little bit easier to see which one you want to remove. His abilities are pretty good in general, and applying stuns and removing negative effects is going to be very strong in a lot of modes.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that, you know, immunity can be something that Mighty Avengers struggle a little bit to deal with, since, you know, if a team has safeguard and immunity, you're not able to pull it, but you can obviously copy it for yourself. So that'll be an
Brother, no, they don't struggle with immunity. They don't struggle with it, I guess a little bit, but not really. Because Scarlet Witch, even if there's safeguard, she still decays the defense up off of them, right? And then Falcon sees immunity, he sees safeguard, and he gives your team more buffs. They don't struggle with that. They struggle with Shadow King stealing their immunity. They struggle with Medusa stealing their safeguard. It's not the reverse. What are we talking about here?
interesting mechanic on how that works. But I'll be excited to see how the community experiments with those two characters before we get the full team.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what people like.
I think my last question here is, this is a raid team, but traditionally raid teams have been able to perform in some of these other game modes. So my question is, how do you think this raid team is going to perform in some of these other game modes?
I think they're going to perform pretty well in War. They do have on-spawn safeguard and immunity, so a lot of teams that can't deal with that type of mechanics are going to struggle a little bit against this team. Maybe some old War teams that are still pretty relevant, but if the enemy teams are able to deal with immunity or on-spawn safeguard or even charges, then this team might not do as well. But there's a lot of characters or a lot of teams that might suffer a lot against this team.
I feel like this is one of those teams where it's kind of just a war of attrition, right? They're just going to constantly wear you down while they're bringing their health back up through the 2 Iron Fists. It should be interesting to see how this team fits into the meta. Well, I think that's all we have for you today, but we do want to let you know about a promo code, and you can see that code on the screen right now. Go to marvelstrikeforce.com/playergift and enter the code Immortal Weapons. Again, that's marvelstrikeforce.com/playergift and enter the code Immortal Weapons now. All right, well, thanks so much for being here today, Ricardo. It's always nice to have you on StrikeSpot.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
And we're looking forward to the next one. I'll be interested to see what team you're going to have cooking up next.
Yeah, I'm excited too.
Awesome. Well, that's it for now, Commanders. We'll see you on the next episode of StrikeSpot.
Cool. Listen, raid teams are really boring, and I don't love them because it's just kind of get this team, click this button. You're filling in a checkbox, right? The fact that they're doing for this team the same thing they did for Hellfire Club, I think is so cool. They said that, hey, this team's gonna be pretty good in war. I believe it, right? The problem is they use this word Alpha Strike a lot lately. I had to actually ask what the heck this word means. Alpha Strike is basically, you know how I keep preaching that most of our matches are kind of solved in the first wave of turns. If you haven't killed somebody in the first wave of turns, it's over. That's because a character like Blade does an Alpha Strike, where it just means he hits really fucking hard right away, right? And so because he hits really hard, things just melt and they disappear. So that's what they say when it's like, this prevents Alpha Strike. It's okay, well, now they have safeguard immunity, so Blade's not going to put defense down out there. They get the safeguard, so it's damage reduction instead of defense up, because Blade obviously hits through defense up. He doesn't care about that, right? So it's like layered on there to try and make it so that you're just not one-tapping this crew before they get a turn. Leads me to believe this team is going to be a little bit on the slower side if they're giving them that sort of protection. That's what they did for what is it? Astral. I was thinking Shadow World. No. Astral, the old Battle World team. That's what they did for them. And how great was Astral on defense, right? They tried to give them that sort of Alpha Strike protection. Didn't really go their way now, did it? Right? So we'll see what that brings. I think the Thunderbolts, I'm more excited about what this could mean for Thunderbolts. Though the more I think about it, the more like, you can't take Songbird off of that. Because then it's, trauma and ability block are back on the table. Doesn't sound like you'd be too well off, but it does mean they'd still be a better team than like Thunderbolts with Phoenix Force, which is what a lot of people throw in war right now. I'm super curious about Swordmaster and Mighty Avengers. I need to know who he's going to be replacing and what his starting speed is. Because if his starting speed is fast enough, if he's fast in Hercules, let's say he's at like 129 and he's got a turn 1 stun, which now that I'm saying it out loud, there's no way they're going to give a starting ability a turn 1 stun, right? They did that for Hellcat, but Hellcat also needs to have 3 of her team members with her in order to actually get the energy to do the stun turn 1. Maybe he's going to be slow. It's got to be Vision that gets let off the group, right? All right, let me know what you guys think about this new Immortal Weapons team. Both just the hype factor, like how popular these characters are. Do they actually excite you? What did you hear about their use in raids that might have piqued your interest? Most importantly, what did you think about, because they did a lot of differential talk there when they talked about what happens in raids and what happens elsewhere. What did you think about their use outside of raids, in particular with the Mighty Avengers and the Thunderbolts? I think this is super cool, and I can't wait to read your comments in the comment section below. So let me know, and I'll talk to you guys there. All right, bye for now. That's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Stay happy, healthy, have fun, and I'll see you in the next one.